Welcome to this webinar on two affordable housing-related warrant articles for this year's 2020 town meeting. These articles are proposed by the Sherborn Planning Board and the Sherborn Housing Partnership. My name is John Higley, and with Addie Mae Weiss, we'll explain why controlling and guiding affordable housing development in Sherborn is important now more than ever. We already have bylaws and rules and regulations to guide housing development. This affordable housing bylaw, also known as inclusionary zoning, is needed specifically to give Sherborn a way to include affordable housing so that we can get in control of affordable housing development and then stay in control. We'll also describe how the Housing Trust warrant article enables Sherborn to have and properly manage the affordable housing financial resources we need in a way that's best for Sherborn. We'll describe both of these affordable housing articles so you'll be better informed when it comes time to vote at town meeting. You can pause this and get copies of both articles on the town website at www.sherbornma.org or in your town warrant, but you don't need to have either of these for this webinar. Let's begin with a little background. The cost of housing is a regional and national problem. The cost of housing has grown so fast that it's difficult for folks with moderate or low income to find housing. Affordable housing is both our civic duty, and it's also necessary for Massachusetts to compete with other states as a good place for business and jobs. In 1969, Massachusetts passed the Mass General Law, Chapter 40B, to encourage developers to include affordable housing when they build more expensive market rate housing. The 40B law gives developers a big incentive by allowing them to avoid more restrictive local building permitting, zoning, and other local rules, regulations, and bylaws. Sherborn has a lot of great land, great schools, so we're very attractive to developers. And until we have 10% affordable housing, we're at risk of big and small 40B developments that aren't good for Sherborn. The state 40B law gives incentives to developers, but it also gives incentives to communities that plan and add affordable housing. When a town has a housing plan, adds affordable housing, and reaches the target 10% housing goal, the town regains power to apply their local rules and regulations. It's called safe harbor. That's when we can deny proposed 40B developments that don't fit our plan. This 2018 map shows a lot of communities that have or had approved plans, but only a few in yellow are actually in safe harbor. Some communities may reach safe harbor, but as the total number of homes in their town community or communities continue to increase, they have difficult time staying in safe harbor. So Sherborn does have a plan. We have a plan to add affordable housing. Both the Affordable Housing Bylaw and the Housing Trust are in our housing plan and master plan. They'll help us reach 10% affordable housing, but their real importance is they keep us in safe harbor to stay above 10% affordable housing. Together, they give Sherborn a way to add more affordable housing as the total number of homes grow. The way this affordable housing bylaw works is it requires all new housing development of 2 or more houses to either include affordable housing or contribute to affordable housing in Sherborn. It makes sure any affordable housing that's built will stay affordable. In the past, some were built with 15 or 30-year expiration dates so that they could become market rate homes and actually count against our 10% goal. So where are we now? Sherborn does have affordable homes. We have 34 now, so we're at 2.3% affordable housing. And we have 3 current 40B developments being built now, and they're on North Main Street, Washington Street, and Whitney Street. And when they're completed, they'll add 23 more affordable homes, which will get us to 3.7%. So we'll be at 3.7%. Every 10 years, the census updates the total number of homes. So in 2030, there'll be more homes. So the bylaw will help add affordable homes. There are 2 projects that in the works on Coolidge Street that could add enough affordable homes so that after the 2030 census, we'll be at 10.5%, safely in safe harbor, with room for a little variation in the forecast. The Affordable Housing Bylaw and Housing Trust will add affordable homes and keep us in safe harbor. Let's take a look at how the bylaw works. The bylaw requires all housing developments of 2 or more homes to contribute to affordable housing. Projects of 2 to 5 homes, the developer can make a payment in lieu of building an affordable home. For developments of 6 or more market rate homes, the developer is required to add 15% more affordable homes. If that 15% is a fraction of 0.5% or higher, the required number is rounded up. If it's less than 0.5%, then the payment in lieu to the Sherborn Housing Trust is required. The bylaw does give the developer some options. The developer can build affordable houses right on site with the other homes or off-site at a different location or locations, and they can be new or refurbished or repurposed existing home. They can be a duplex or multifamily as long as it has the appearance of a single-family home and it has to be consistent with the other homes in the neighborhood. The third option is that they can make a payment in lieu that goes into the housing trust so Sherborn can buy or build affordable housing. The bylaw requires whatever's built, it has to comply with Sherborn's Planning Board, Board of Health, and Conservation Committee bylaws, rules, and regulations. And all affordable homes have to comply with the state's requirements so that they count towards our 10% goal. So let's look at a couple of examples. In this example, the developer wants to build 10 market rate units. The bylaw requires the number of market rate units to be multiplied by 15% to determine the number of affordable units. So in this example, 1.5 affordable units are required, and that's a fraction. So according to the bylaw, that gets rounded up to 2 affordable units. So here we'll say the market rate units are $850,000 and the affordable units are $250,000. The bylaw specifies the methods for determining the actual prices used in the calculations. The payment option is the difference between the market rate and the affordable unit, in this case, $600,000, so that the developer can decide to build 2 affordable units or pay $1.2 million for the 2, or build one and pay for one. This is the same for any size development of 6 or more homes. The bylaw defines a different formula for the developments of 2 to 5 homes. So in this example, the development is 4 market rate units. The bylaw uses a slightly different formula to make the payment in lieu fee a little less for smaller development. The bylaw says for developments of 2 to 5 houses, the pay in lieu fee is calculated by dividing the difference between the market rate and affordable housing by 6, and then adding that 1/6 amount for each market rate house. If we use the same prices we used in the last example, we'll get that same $600,000 difference between the market rate and affordable house. 1/6 of that $600,000 is $100,000 per market rate unit. So in this example of 4 units, the pay in lieu fee to contribute to affordable housing is $400,000. The bylaw allows the developer to build an affordable unit or pay a fee to the Affordable Housing Trust. So the Affordable Housing Bylaw requires the developers to either add affordable housing or make a payment. Now's a good time to turn this over to Addie Mae Weiss to tell you about the Housing Trust Warrant article. Addie Mae is a member of the Planning Board and also the chair of the Sherborn Housing Partnership.
Thank you, John. As John mentioned at the start of this webinar, complete detailed language of the Affordable Housing Zoning Warrant article can be found on the town website under Planning Board's drop-down menu for 2020 zoning bylaws, and Housing Trust Bylaw Warrant article may be found on the Housing Partnership page of the town's website. This webinar highlights important details found in those warrant articles. The citizens of Sherborn voted to adopt the state's language for the establishment of a housing trust at the 2019 annual town meeting. A working group of Planning Board, Housing Partnership, and town members with relevant trust experience worked with the Affordable Housing and Trust consultant Jennifer Goldston to determine what a housing trust in Sherborn should look like. First, a reminder about what a municipal housing trust does for Sherborn. The primary purpose is to establish a dedicated place for preserving funds separate from the general town budget, which are dedicated to affordable housing. Having an established trust enables the town to receive funds in the event an affordable unit were to go into foreclosure, payment in lieu of constructing affordable units is made, or other negotiations resulting in a fee to benefit affordable housing. As the working group determined specifics for Sherborn's Housing Trust, it was determined there was a desire for increased transparency and fiscal oversight to have Select Board authorization on some of the state-granted powers. Requiring authorization of the Select Board for certain fiscal transactions is considered a modification of the statutory powers granted by the state law. Therefore, we are required to bring this warrant article to ask the town to accept modifications of statutory powers. The primary modification is adding a requirement for the Sherborn Housing Trust to get select board approval before they can borrow money or mortgage trust assets. They will also need to get approval from the select board before they can buy, sell, or lease property. An important distinction by this approach is that the town owns the responsibility and liability of the trust rather than the trust being independent of the town. The trust board is required by state statute to include a member of the select board. This bylaw specifies Sherborn's trust board will include one member of the planning board, one member of land acquisition committee, and either 2 or 4 residents at large from the community who may have specific skills and experience that will be helpful to the trust board, such as affordable housing development, real estate development, banking, finance, or real estate law. In summary, the two bylaws work together to help us reach affordable housing goals set forth in the Housing Production Plan and Town Master Plan. Fully establishing Sherborn's Affordable Housing Trust and passing the Affordable Housing Bylaw will help us do the right thing and preserve the character of our town. Thank you for taking the time. We appreciate your interest, and we hope that we've made clear how these two separate warrant articles support each other and of their value to Sherborn citizens. Please let us know if you want more information or have questions. Also, take a look at the excellent webinar hosted by fellow Planning Board member Marianne Neutra on the proposed open space subdivision bylaw.